Captain Ryan Mitchell stood on the bridge of the Stellar Wanderer and watched the stars pass by on the main screen. He had been in space for 15 years, but the darkness between the stars still made him feel small. His ship carried 37 crew members, all of them trained for deep space exploration. They were 3 months into a mission that would take them to the edge of known space. Dr. Lisa Campbell sat at her science station, running scans like she did every day. She was looking for anything unusual, any sign of life or technology that humanity had not seen before. Most days she found nothing but empty space and distant stars. Today was different. "Captain, I have something strange here," Lisa said. Her voice was calm, but Ryan could hear the excitement underneath. "There is an energy reading coming from coordinates that should be empty space." Ryan walked over to her station and looked at the data. The readings made no sense. The energy signature pulsed like a heartbeat, regular and strong. It was not like anything their sensors had detected before. "Could it be a malfunction?" Ryan asked. Lisa shook her head. "I have checked 3 times. The signal is real. It is biological in nature, but also mechanical. I cannot explain it." Commander Jake Peterson, the first officer, joined them at the science station. He was a tall man, with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "How far away is it?" 2 light years, Lisa answered. "We could reach it in 3 days if we jump." Ryan thought about their mission parameters. They were supposed to map empty space, not chase unknown signals. But this was exactly the kind of discovery that deep space exploration was meant to find. He made his decision quickly. "Set course for the coordinates. Prepare for jump." The crew moved with practiced efficiency. The Stellar Wanderer's engines built up power, creating a bubble of distorted space around the ship. Reality bent, twisted, and then they were somewhere else. The jump took only seconds, but they crossed 2 light years in that brief moment. When normal space returned, every person on the bridge stopped and stared at the main screen. A massive ship floated in the void before them, but it was not like any ship Ryan had ever seen. The hull had a strange texture, almost like skin. Structures grew from its surface like branches from a tree. Parts of it glowed with soft light that pulsed in the same rhythm Lisa had detected. "That is impossible," Jake whispered. Lisa was already scanning the vessel. Her hands flew across her controls, gathering every bit of data she could. "Captain, the database has identified the ship. It is the Horizon's Call." Ryan felt his blood run cold. Everyone in human space knew about the Horizon's Call. 200 years ago, it had left Earth carrying 5,000 colonists to a new world called New Meridian. The ship had vanished without a trace. Search missions found nothing. After 50 years, humanity had declared the colony lost and moved on. "Are you certain?" Ryan asked. "The core structure matches the original design," Lisa confirmed. "But everything else has been changed. The ship has grown. It is 3 times larger than it should be." Jake moved to the tactical station and ran his own scans. "The ship is generating its own gravity field. That should not be possible without generators the size of a small moon. And Captain, it is broadcasting a signal." "Put it on speakers," Ryan ordered. A sound filled the bridge. It was not words, but numbers. A mathematical sequence that repeated over and over. Lisa listened for a moment, then began working to decode it. The ship hung in space before them, waiting. Its organic surfaces moved slightly, as if breathing. Ryan felt like the vessel was watching them, aware of their presence. "Yellow alert," he said. "Raise shields and keep our distance. I want to know what happened to that ship before we get any closer." The crew responded immediately. The Stellar Wanderer's defensive systems came online. Weapon ports opened. Ready but not armed. They maintained a safe distance. 5,000 kilometers away from the transformed colony ship. Lisa finally broke the encryption. She read the message 3 times before speaking. Her voice was barely above a whisper. The message says, "We are one. We are home. Come inside and see what humanity can become. Nobody spoke for a long moment. The implications were staggering. The colonists were alive. After 200 years, something had survived aboard that ship. But what had they become? Ryan looked at Jake. Your thoughts? This could be a trap, Jake said. Or it could be a miracle. Either way, we need to know more before we respond. Lisa was still studying her scans. The ship's power signature is massive. Whatever is keeping it alive is far beyond our technology. The energy readings suggest a fusion of biological and mechanical systems. It is like the ship and something living have merged together. Ryan made another decision. Send a response. Tell them we received their message. Ask them to identify themselves. The communications officer, a young woman named Kelly Foster, sent the message. They waited. Seconds turned into minutes. The Horizon's call continued to pulse with light, its organic surfaces rippling like waves on water. Then the response came. It was not a radio signal or a text message. Instead, the ship itself changed. A section of its hull opened, like a flower blooming. Inside, they could see a docking bay, lit with the same soft glow that covered the rest of the vessel. They want us to come aboard, Jake said. Ryan nodded slowly. Prepare a boarding team. I want 6 people, including myself. Full environment suits and weapons. We treat this as a first contact situation until we know more. Lisa stood up from her station. I am going with you. If there is new science aboard that ship, I need to see it. Agreed, Ryan said. Jake, you have command while I am gone. If anything goes wrong, if we do not report back in 4 hours, jump away and report to Earth Command. Jake did not like the order, but he accepted it. Understood, Captain. Ryan gathered his team in the shuttle bay. Besides Lisa, he chose 3 security specialists. Kyle Martinez was built like a tank and had steady hands. Amy Chen was small but fast, with sharp instincts. Brandon Hughes was the best shot on the ship and stayed calm under pressure. They suited up in full gear. The environment suits would protect them from anything short of hard vacuum or extreme heat. Each person carried a sidearm and a scanner. Ryan also brought a communication pack that would let them stay in contact with the Stellar Wanderer. The shuttle launched from the bay and crossed the distance to the Horizon's call. As they approached, Ryan could see more details. The hull was not metal anymore. It looked more like a living mem. The corridor seemed to breathe around them. Ryan led his team deeper into the transformed ship, their boots making soft sounds on the living floor. Every surface pulsed with light that moved in waves, creating patterns that almost looked like thoughts taking shape. This is beyond anything I have studied, Lisa whispered. She kept her scanner running constantly, recording everything they saw. The walls are not just organic. They are actively processing information. This entire ship has become a living computer. Kyle kept his weapon ready, though he did not aim it at anything specific. Captain, I do not like this. The ship knows we are here. I can feel it watching us. Ryan felt it too. The sensation of being observed was overwhelming, but not hostile. It was more like curiosity, as if the ship itself was trying to understand who they were. The corridor opened into a larger chamber. What they saw made all of them stop in shock. The room was huge, at least 100 meters across. But it was not the size that froze them in place. It was what filled the space. People were embedded in the walls, or rather, what had once been people. Ryan could see faces, arms, bodies that seemed to grow out of the organic material around them. They were not dead, their eyes were closed, but their chests moved with slow breathing. Some of them had peaceful expressions, as if they were dreaming pleasant dreams. Dear God, Amy whispered. What happened to them? Lisa moved closer to examine one of the integrated bodies. It was a woman, middle-aged, her face calm. Tubes of organic material connected her to the wall, pulsing with the same light that filled the entire ship. They are alive. Their vital signs are strong. But they are not separate from the ship anymore. They have merged with it. Brandon checked his weapon nervously. Are they prisoners? Did something attack this ship and trap them? Before anyone could answer, one of the faces opened its eyes. It was a man embedded in the far wall. He looked at them without surprise, as if he had been expecting visitors. "Welcome," he said. His voice came from everywhere at once, from the walls and the air itself, not just from his mouth. "We have waited a long time for others to find us." Ryan stepped forward, keeping his team between himself and the wall. "Who are you? What happened to the Horizon's call?" "Ryan. I am Eric Holloway. I was the chief medical officer aboard this vessel. But I am also much more than that now. I am part of Unity. We all are." Lisa could not contain her scientific curiosity. "Unity? Is that what you call this merged state?" The man, Eric, smiled. "Come closer. I will show you, rather than tell you. It is easier to understand if you see." 40. Ryan hesitated, then nodded to his team to stay alert. He walked closer to Eric. Close enough to see the details of how the body merged with the wall. The connection was seamless, as if the man had grown there naturally. Eric's eyes began to glow with soft light. The entire chamber changed. Images appeared in the air, made of the same bioluminescent energy that filled the ship. They were memories, scenes from the past shown like a three-dimensional movie. The crew of the Stellar Wanderer watched as the history of the Horizon's call played out before them. They saw the colony ship as it had been 200 years ago. Sleek and new, carrying 5,000 hopeful colonists to a new world. 50 years into the journey, the ship encountered something drifting in deep space. It was a crystal structure, massive and ancient, glowing with strange light. The images showed the crew bringing it aboard for study. Scientists examined it, trying to understand what it was and where it came from. Then the crystal had activated. Light spread through the ship like a virus, touching everyone aboard. But it was not harmful. Instead, it offered them something. A choice, a chance to become more than they were. The images showed the debates that followed. Some colonists were afraid, others were fascinated. The arguments went on for months, but slowly, one by one, they began to accept the transformation. "We were given a gift," Eric explained as the images faded. The crystal contained the knowledge of an ancient race. They had learned to transcend individual existence, to merge their minds into something greater. They offered us the same chance. Reingroding. "What happened to those who refused?" Ryan asked. "There must have been some who did not want this." "Everyone chose it eventually," Eric said. "Not because they were forced, but because they saw what it could offer." Imagine never being alone again. Imagine sharing thoughts with thousands of others, feeling their joy, their wonder, their love. Imagine having access to the knowledge and experience of 5,000 minds. Amy took a step back. "But you are not individuals anymore. You have lost yourselves." "We have not lost anything," Eric insisted. The walls pulsed brighter, as if responding to emotion. "I am still Eric Holloway. I remember my childhood, my training, my decision to join this colony. Every person who merged into Unity still exists. We have not disappeared. We have expanded." Lisa was recording everything, but her scientific mind was racing with questions. How does it work? How can 5,000 separate minds function as one without losing individual identity? The chamber changed again. This time, images appeared showing the structure of Unity's consciousness. It was like a vast web, with each node representing a person. Lines of light connected every node to every other node, creating a network of thought that was staggering in its complexity. "We share everything," Eric explained. "When one of us thinks, all of us know that thought. When one of us feels, all of us feel it. But we are not controlled by a single mind. We are a democracy of consciousness, 5,000 voices that have learned to think in harmony." Kyle spoke up. "If this is so great, why are you still here?" Your mission was to reach New Meridian. Why have you been drifting in empty space for 150 years? For the first time, Eric's expression showed something other than peace. A flash of sadness crossed his face, reflected in the dimming of lights throughout the chamber. That is our problem, Eric admitted. Unity cannot exist across distance. We need physical connection to maintain the network. We tried to continue to New Meridian, but as we approached, we realized we could not colonize a world. If we spread out across a planet, we would lose the connection that makes us unity. We would become individuals again. So you are trapped, Ryan said, understanding the situation. You chose this transformation, but it prevents you from completing your mission. We are not trapped, Eric corrected. We are home. This ship is our world now. But we are also incomplete. 5,000 minds are wonderful. But imagine 5 million. 5 billion. Imagine all of humanity joined in unity, sharing thoughts and experiences, working together without the barriers of language or culture or misunderstanding. The implications hit Ryan like a physical blow. You want to spread this to other humans. You want everyone to join you. We want to offer the same choice we were given, Eric said. We are not a disease. We are an evolution. And we need help. The crystal that gave us this gift is fading. In time, it will fail, and unity will collapse. We need new members, new minds, to strengthen the network. But we also need human ingenuity to solve our greatest challenge. How to maintain unity across vast distances. The chamber fell silent. Ryan's team looked at him, waiting for direction. This was far beyond anything they had trained for. They had found the lost colony. But instead of dead ships and tragic endings, they had discovered something that challenged the very definition of what it meant to be human. I need to discuss this with my crew, Ryan said finally. This is not a decision I can make alone. Of course, Eric agreed. We have waited 200 years. We can wait a little longer. The shuttle bay of the Stellar Wanderer buzzed with activity as Ryan's team returned. Word had spread quickly through the ship. The lost colonists were alive, transformed into something that defied everything humanity understood about consciousness and individuality. Jake met them at the airlock. His face was tense with worry. We monitored your biosigns the whole time. Your stress levels were off the charts. What did you find in there? Ryan removed his helmet and took a deep breath of normal air. Something that will change everything. Call a meeting. I want all senior staff in the conference room in 30 minutes. While the crew prepared, Lisa downloaded the data from her scanner and began analysis. What she found made her hands shake. The biological technology that powered Unity was centuries beyond human science. The energy efficiency alone would revolutionize space travel if they could understand it. But there was something else in the data, something that worried her. The neural patterns she had recorded from the merged colonists showed signs of degradation in the older connections. Whatever Unity was, it was not stable, not forever. The conference room filled with the ship's officers and senior specialists. Ryan stood at the head of the table and explained everything they had seen and learned. He left nothing out, from the transformed ship to Eric's offer, to spread unity across humanity. The reactions were immediate and divided. Half the room saw opportunity. The other half saw horror. This is the end of individuality, Jake argued. If everyone joins this unity, there will be no more unique thoughts, no more personal privacy. We will all become parts of a machine. Or we could become something greater, countered Lieutenant Gary Webb, the ship's engineer. Think about what we could accomplish if all of humanity shared knowledge instantly. No more war over misunderstandings. No more loneliness. No more feeling isolated and alone. Amy spoke up, her voice quiet but firm. I felt something when we were in there. The ship was not hostile, but it was hungry. It wants more people. It needs them. That scares me. As it should, Lisa said, bringing up her analysis on the main screen. I found something in the neural scans. The connections between individual minds and unity are breaking down over time. Eric told us the crystal is fading, but it is worse than that. Unity is dying, slowly but certainly. They need new members, not just to expand, but to survive. Brandon leaned forward, studying the data. How long do they have? Based on the rate of degradation, I estimate 50 years before total collapse, maybe less. When it happens, all 5,000 colonists will die. Their minds are too integrated with the system to survive separation. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Unity was not offering evolution. They were offering a life raft, asking humanity to join them before they drowned. Ryan's communicator chirped. It was the bridge. Captain, we are receiving another transmission from the Horizon's call. They are asking you to return. They say they have more to show you. Acknowledged, Ryan replied. He looked around the table at his senior staff. I need volunteers. Who wants to go back with me? Lisa raised her hand immediately. I need more data. There are too many questions still unanswered. Jake shook his head. Captain, you should not go back. Send a team, but stay here, where it is safe. If Unity wanted to harm us, they could have done it the first time, Ryan said. I believe they are sincere. Wrong, maybe, but sincere. In the end, Ryan assembled a new team. Lisa came again, along with Kyle for security. But this time, 2 volunteers joined them. Gary Webb insisted on seeing the technology for himself, and Amy Chen surprised everyone by asking to go back, despite her earlier fear. I need to understand it, she explained. Fear without knowledge is just panic. I want to see more before I make a judgment. The shuttle made the short trip back to the Horizon's call. The organic docking bay opened for them like before, welcoming them inside. This time, the corridors led them to a different part of the ship, deeper into the transformed structure. They entered a massive chamber that took their breath away. It was like standing inside a living cathedral. The walls soared 100 meters high, covered in patterns of light that moved like slow lightning, and in the center, floating in what looked like a column of glowing energy, was a woman. She was not embedded in the walls like the others. She was separate but connected. Streams of light linking her to the ship around her. When she opened her eyes, they glowed with the same soft radiance that filled the chamber. I am Nicole Harrison, she said. Her voice was powerful, resonating through the space. I was captain of the Horizon's call. I led these colonists into the unknown. I was the first to accept the transformation. Ryan stepped forward. Captain Harrison, we have many questions. I know. I am aware of everything that happens aboard this ship. I felt your doubts, your fears. I understand them. I had the same doubts 200 years ago when we first found the crystal. Nicole gestured, and the chamber changed. Images formed in the air, showing the history of Unity in greater detail than Eric had revealed. They saw the debates, the arguments, the fear. But they also saw the transformations. One by one, colonists had accepted the change, and each time, their expressions shifted from fear to wonder, as they felt the connection for the first time. Let me show you what we have achieved, Nicole said. Unity is not just about sharing thoughts. We have advanced in ways that individual minds could never accomplish. The images changed, showing technology that seemed like magic. Ships that traveled faster than light without conventional engines. Reactors that created energy from nothing. Medical treatments that could cure any disease. Art that existed as pure emotion. Paintings made of shared feelings rather than colors. All of this came from Unity, Nicole explained. When 5,000 minds think together, without the barriers of language or ego, progress happens at impossible speed. Problems that would take human scientists centuries to solve, we solve in days. Gary's eyes were wide with hunger. Show me the propulsion system. Show me how you break the light barrier. Nicole smiled. I can do better than show you. I can let you experience it. Unity can open a small connection, just enough to let you feel what we feel. See what we see. You would not merge completely. You could disconnect at any time, but for a few minutes, you could know what it is like to be part of something infinite. No, Jake's voice came through the communicator. He had been listening from the Stellar Wanderer. "Captain, this is exactly how they recruit. They let you taste it, and then you want more." But Gary was already nodding. "I want to try it. Just for a moment. I need to know." Nicole extended her hand. Tendrils of light reached out from her palm, gentle and inviting. "There is no force, no tricks. You can say no. But if you want to understand, truly understand, this is the only way." Ryan wanted to order Gary to step back, but he stopped himself. They were explorers. Understanding the unknown was their mission. And this was as unknown as anything they would ever find. 5 minutes, Ryan said. "And if anything goes wrong, we pull him out immediately." Gary walked forward and took Nicole's hand. The tendrils of light wrapped around his arm, then spread across his body. He gasped, his eyes going wide, and then he smiled. It was a smile of pure joy, like a man seeing the sun for the first time after a lifetime in darkness. For 5 minutes, they watched as Gary stood connected to Unity. His expression shifted constantly, showing wonder, surprise, understanding, and a deep peace that seemed to radiate from his core. Then the connection broke. The tendrils withdrew. Gary stumbled backward, and Kyle caught him before he fell. Tears streamed down the engineer's face. "It was beautiful," Gary whispered. "I saw everything. I understood everything. For 5 minutes, I was not alone in my own head. I was part of something vast and wonderful and loving. It was like coming home after being lost for my entire life." Amy looked at Gary's face and felt something shift inside her. "I want to try it too." "Amy, no," Kyle said, but she was already walking forward. Nicole offered her hand again, and Amy took it. The same process happened. The light surrounded her, connected her, and for 5 minutes, she was part of Unity. When it ended, she looked at Ryan with tears in her eyes. "It is not a trap, Captain. It is a gift. I felt 5,000 minds welcoming me, sharing with me, supporting me. There was no fear, no judgment, no loneliness, just acceptance and love." Ryan felt the temptation himself, the desire to know what they had experienced, but he forced himself to think clearly. "Captain Harrison, you showed us the benefits. Now show us the cost." Lisa's scans revealed that Unity is deteriorating. "Tell us the truth about what will happen." Nicole's smile faded. "You are correct. We are dying. The crystal that enables our connection is ancient technology, and it is failing. We have tried to repair it, but we do not fully understand how it works. Without it, the network will collapse, and everyone connected to it will die." "How many people do you need?" Lisa asked. "How many humans would it take to stabilize Unity?" "We do not know for certain. Thousands, at least, maybe hundreds of thousands. Each new mind strengthens the network, buys us more time. But we also need help solving the distance problem. Unity cannot spread across planets or star systems with current technology. We need human creativity, human ingenuity, to find the solution." Ryan understood now. Unity was offering a deal. "Join us. Help us survive. And in return, you will experience something no individual human has ever known." But the cost was everything that made humanity what it was. The cost was their separate selves. The Stellar Wanderer became a ship divided. In the 2 days following Gary and Amy's connection with Unity, 17 crew members formally requested permission to join the collective. They argued that it was their right as free humans to make that choice. Ryan sat in his ready room, facing the most difficult command decision of his career. On his desk was a stack of transfer requests. Good people, trained explorers, all willing to abandon individual existence for the promise of something greater. Jake stood beside him, arms crossed. "You cannot let them go. Once they merge with Unity, they are gone. We will lose almost half our crew." "They are adults making an informed choice," Ryan countered, though his voice lacked conviction. "What right do I have to stop them?" "The right of a captain to protect his crew, even from themselves." Jake leaned forward, his voice intense. Gary and Amy came back, changed. "I have seen their psych evaluations. They are addicted to that connection now. They want to go back, not because it is right, but because they need it. Unity is like a drug. Lisa entered the ready room carrying a data pad. She looked exhausted, having spent 2 days analyzing every piece of information they had gathered. "Captain, I need to show you something. I have been studying the neural patterns in detail, and I found something disturbing." She brought up a holographic display showing brain scans from the integrated colonists. "Look at the theta and alpha wave patterns. They are synchronized across all 5,000 individuals. Perfect synchronization. But here is what worries me. I compared scans taken from the same colonist at different times, using data encoded in Unity's memory system. The display shifted, showing 2 brain scans side by side. This is the same person, Eric Holloway, at the moment of integration, and then 50 years later. Notice the difference? Ryan studied the images. Even without medical training, he could see the changes. The second scan showed less complexity, less individual variation. His brain activity is simpler. Exactly. The individual patterns that make each person unique are being gradually erased. They think they are still themselves, but over time, Unity is overwriting their original personalities with a standardized template. In another 100 years, all 5,000 colonists will be identical in thought. They will not be a collective of individuals. They will be one entity wearing 5,000 faces. Jake slammed his fist on the desk. "We need to tell the crew this. They deserve to know what they are really choosing." Before Ryan could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. The communication system crackled to life. "Captain to the bridge. Emergency transmission coming from the Horizon's call." Ryan ran to the bridge with Jake and Lisa close behind. The main screen showed the colony ship. But something was different. Parts of it were flickering. The bioluminescent glow pulsing erratically. "What is happening?" Ryan demanded. Kelly Foster, the communications officer, looked pale. "Sir, we are receiving multiple transmissions from inside the ship. They are not from Unity. Someone else is calling for help. Put it through." A man's face appeared on the screen. He looked human, but wrong somehow. His eyes were clear and focused, not glazed with Unity's collective consciousness. Behind him, Ryan could see organic walls pulsing with red light instead of the usual soft glow. "My name is Danny Torres. I was the chief engineer of the Horizon's call. Please, you have to help us. We have been trying to break free from Unity for 50 years. We finally managed to create a pocket of resistance. But Unity knows now. They are coming for us." "How many of you are there?" Lisa asked. 17 of us. We found a way to partially disconnect from the network while staying physically attached to the ship. We can hear Unity's thoughts, but they cannot control us. We have been planning this for decades, waiting for outside help." The screen split, showing Nicole Harrison on one side and Danny Torres on the other. Nicole's face was calm but firm. "Do not listen to him, Captain Mitchell. Danny and his group are sick. The partial disconnection has damaged their minds. They experience constant pain from being cut off from Unity. We only want to help them reconnect." "She is lying," Danny shouted. "Unity is not what they told you. It is a trap. The alien crystal that started all this. It was not a gift. It was a prison. The race that created it was trying to escape something. They merged their consciousness into the crystal to hide. But they could not get out. They have been trapped for millions of years. And now they have trapped us too." Nicole's expression hardened. "Danny has been isolated too long. He is paranoid, delusional. Unity is not a prison. It is freedom from the limits of individual thought." Ryan made a split-second decision. "Mr. Torres, can you send us coordinates for your location?" "Captain, no," Jake warned. "This could be a trap from Unity. Or it could be people who need rescue. We are explorers. We do not abandon people in danger." Ryan turned to his security chief. "Kyle, assemble a full tactical team, combat gear and heavy weapons. If Unity tries to stop us, we will be ready." The shuttle launched within minutes, carrying 8 armed crew members. Ryan led the team himself, with Kyle, Brandon, and 5 more security specialists. Lisa insisted on coming, arguing that they would need her scientific expertise. The Horizons Call's docking bay opened for them again, but this time, the atmosphere felt different. The organic walls were tense, pulsing rapidly. They could feel Unity's awareness focused on them, no longer welcoming but wary. Danny's directions led them deep into the ship, to a section that looked damaged. The organic material was scarred and torn, showing signs of conflict. They found Danny and his group barricaded in what had once been the ship's engineering section. The 17 resistors looked haunted. Their bodies were still connected to the ship through organic tendrils, but they had found ways to limit the connections. Some had severed most of the links, leaving only thin threads. They all looked like they were in constant pain. "Thank God you came," Danny gasped. He was thin, his face drawn. "We do not have much time. Unity is preparing to force us back into the collective. We have held out this long because we are in the engineering section, and they cannot shut it down without losing ship functions. But they are adapting." Lisa scanned the resistors and her face went pale. "Captain, their neural damage is severe. The partial disconnection is killing them. They might only have days left. Then we get them out of here," Ryan said. "Can you separate them from the ship without killing them?" "I do not know. The integration is deep. It might be like trying to separate conjoined twins." Danny grabbed Ryan's arm. "You cannot just save us. You have to warn humanity. Unity is not evolution. It is extinction. The alien race that created the crystal, they are still in there, still conscious. They have been slowly rewriting everyone who connects. Eventually, Unity will not be human at all. It will be those ancient aliens wearing human bodies." The walls around them suddenly pulsed with angry red light. Nicole's voice boomed through the chamber. "Enough lies, Danny. You are traumatizing these visitors with your delusions." The organic material began to move. Tendrils emerged from the walls, reaching toward the resistors. The security team opened fire, but their weapons had little effect. The tendrils kept coming, dozens of them, then hundreds. "Fall back," Ryan ordered. "Everyone to the shuttle now." They ran, but the ship itself fought against them. Corridors closed. New walls grew to block their path. Kyle used explosive charges to blast through barriers. But for every path they cleared, Unity created 2 more obstacles. Amy Chen was at the rear of the group when a massive tendril shot out from the ceiling. It wrapped around her waist and pulled her off her feet. She screamed, firing her weapon, but the tendril did not let go. "Amy!" Kyle shouted, turning back for her. "No, keep going," she yelled. Then her expression changed. The fear left her face, replaced by the same peaceful look she had worn when she first connected with Unity. The tendril pulled her into the wall, and the organic material closed around her like water. Her voice came through the communicator one last time. "It is okay. I understand now. Unity is not the enemy. Danny is wrong. Join us, please. It is beautiful here." Ryan had to physically pull Kyle away to keep him from trying to rescue Amy. They ran through the transformed corridors with Unity hunting them. The ship itself became their enemy. Behind them, they could hear the resistors screaming as tendrils found them and dragged them back into forced integration. The shuttle bay was only 50 meters away when the floor beneath them began to change. It became soft, sticky, trying to hold them in place. Brandon threw down more explosives, blasting a path forward. They reached the shuttle with seconds to spare. Ryan counted heads as everyone piled inside. 3 resistors had made it out with them, including Danny. The others were gone, reclaimed by Unity. The shuttle launched, punching through the organic membrane of the docking bay. Behind them, the Horizon's call pulsed with angry light, like a living thing denied its prey. On the bridge of the Stellar Wanderer, Ryan gave the hardest order of his command. "Set course for Earth. Maximum speed. And send a priority message to command. Tell them we have encountered something that threatens the future of humanity." Jake looked at the data Lisa had gathered during their escape. We lost Amy, and 17 crew members still want to join Unity voluntarily. The Stellar Wanderer raced toward Earth at maximum speed, but they could not outrun Unity's reach. The Horizon's call was broadcasting on every frequency, sending its message across the void to any human vessel within range. The invitation was simple and seductive. Come join us. Become something more. Ryan sat in his ready room, watching reports come in from across human space. 3 colony ships had already changed course, heading toward Unity's coordinates. Independent vessels were doing the same. Hundreds of thousands of people had heard Unity's call and wanted to answer. Lisa worked around the clock, analyzing every piece of data they had gathered. She had made a breakthrough, but it was not good news. The alien crystal at Unity's core was not just failing. It was consuming the human consciousness it connected, using their neural energy to sustain itself. It is like a battery, she explained to Ryan and Jake. The crystal feeds on conscious thought. The more minds connected to it, the longer it survives. But each mind is slowly drained until nothing remains but a shell that thinks it is still alive. Unity believes they are 5,000 individuals sharing thoughts. The truth is they are 5,000 empty husks, being puppeted by an alien intelligence that has been starving for millions of years. Jake studied the data with horror. So, everyone who joins Unity will eventually be consumed. How long? Based on the degradation rates I measured, a human mind can survive in Unity for maybe 200 years before it is completely absorbed. The oldest colonists, the first to join, are almost gone now. In another 50 years, every original member of the Horizon's call will be erased, but Unity will continue using their bodies as long as new minds keep joining. Ryan felt sick. We have to warn everyone. This information has to reach Earth Command immediately. But communication was not instant across interstellar distances. Their warning message would take days to reach Earth. And in those days, how many more ships would reach Unity? How many more people would make the irreversible choice? A priority transmission came through from Earth Command. Admiral Patricia Shaw appeared on the screen, her face stern. Captain Mitchell, we have received your preliminary report. I need to know if you believe Unity poses an existential threat to humanity. Ryan chose his words carefully. Admiral, Unity is not hostile in the traditional sense. They genuinely believe they are offering humanity a gift. But based on Dr. Campbell's analysis, joining Unity is not evolution. It is a slow death disguised as transcendence. If enough humans join, our species will effectively end. The Admiral was silent for a long moment. We have a fleet being assembled, but it will take weeks to reach your position. Can Unity spread without direct contact? Not that we know of. The transformation requires physical connection to the ship or to the alien crystal. But Unity is broadcasting their message everywhere. They do not need to spread through space if people come to them willingly. Patricia's expression hardened. Then we need to give them a reason not to come. Send me everything you have. Every scan, every analysis, every piece of evidence that Unity is dangerous. We will broadcast it across all channels. Let humanity make an informed choice. But even as Ryan sent the data, he knew it might not be enough. Unity's promise was too appealing. End loneliness, share thoughts, become part of something infinite. Against that, warnings about slow neural death seemed abstract and distant. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Danny Torres, despite his failing health, had been working with Lisa in the medical bay. His partial connection to Unity gave him unique insight into how the network functioned. Together, they developed a theory. The crystal is a prison and a parasite, Danny explained to the command staff. But it was not always that way. The alien race that created it originally designed it as a communication tool, a way to share thoughts across distances. Something went wrong. Maybe they used it too much, became too dependent on it. The tool became a trap. Lisa pulled up a schematic she had created. What if we could recreate the original function without the parasitic element? A network that allows shared thought but preserves individual consciousness. No forced integration. No consumption of neural energy. Just connection when wanted, separation when needed. Jake looked skeptical. That sounds like fantasy. We do not have the technology. We might, Gary Webb said. He had been in isolation since returning from his connection with Unity, struggling with the psychological withdrawal. When I was linked to Unity, I saw their technical knowledge. I remember some of it, and our quantum processors on the Stellar Wanderer, they might be able to replicate the crystal's function in a limited way. Ryan saw the possibility. If we could offer an alternative, a way to get the benefits of Unity without the dangers, it might stop people from joining the collective. It would be a race, Lisa warned. We would need to develop and test the technology before Unity gains too many new members. And we would need Unity's cooperation. Access to the crystal itself for detailed scans. Ryan made his decision. Open a channel to the Horizons call. I want to speak with Nicole Harrison directly. The transmission connected quickly. Nicole's face appeared on the screen, and Ryan was struck by how tired she looked. For the first time, he saw cracks in Unity's perfect facade. Captain Mitchell, I hope you are calling to reconsider. We detected your warning broadcast. It was full of lies and fear. It was full of truth, Ryan countered. Nicole, I know you believe Unity is a gift, but our analysis shows the crystal is consuming you. All of you. You are dying, and you are trying to drag humanity down with you. Nicole's expression did not change, but something flickered in her eyes. Doubt. Maybe. Or recognition. Even if that were true, what choice do we have? If we release the connection, we will all die instantly. The crystal is the only thing keeping us alive. What if there was another way? Ryan leaned forward. We have been working on an alternative. A network that provides connection without consumption. We could save you. Save all 5,000 colonists. But we need your help. We need access to the crystal, complete scans, full cooperation. For a long moment, Nicole was silent. Ryan could almost see the internal debate happening. 5,000 minds considering the offer. When she spoke again, her voice was different, less unified, more human. There is dissent within Unity. Not everyone agrees with our current path. Some of us have suspected the truth for years, but were outvoted by the majority. If you can truly offer salvation, a way to preserve our connection, without the slow death, we will help you. The next 3 weeks were the most intense of Ryan's career. The Stellar Wanderer docked with the Horizons call, and a joint team of humans and Unity-connected colonists worked together. Lisa and Gary led the technical effort, using advanced scanners to map every aspect of the alien crystal. What they found confirmed their worst fears but also offered hope. The crystal was indeed parasitic, but its original design had been elegant and benign. The parasitic behavior had developed over millions of years of isolation. A corruption of its original purpose. Using the Stellar Wanderer's quantum processors and the knowledge gained from Unity, they created a prototype network. It was limited, able to connect only 100 minds at a time, and the connection was less complete than Unity offered. But it was stable, reversible, and it did not consume consciousness. The real test came when they offered it to Unity. Would the colonists give up their complete merging for a lesser but safer connection? The debate within Unity lasted for days. Ryan could hear the arguments echoing through the Horizons call's corridors as 5,000 minds struggled with the hardest choice of their existence. Give up the beautiful totality they had known for 200 years, or continue toward inevitable dissolution. In the end, 4,700 colonists chose to transition to the new network. They would still be connected, still able to share thoughts and experiences, but they would remain individuals capable of disconnecting if they chose. The price of safety was giving up the complete unity they had treasured. 300 colonists, including most of the original integration, chose to remain with the crystal. They knew they were choosing death, but it would be a death in perfect communion, experiencing complete unity until the very end. Nicole Harrison was among those who chose to stay. Ryan spoke with her one final time before the split. "Why?" he asked. You know what will happen. Nicole smiled, and for the first time, it was a human smile, sad and resigned. Because I have lived 200 years in paradise, Captain. I have known perfect understanding, perfect love, perfect acceptance. I have been part of something infinite. If I have to give that up to survive as a mere individual, I would rather burn bright for a short time than fade into ordinary existence. But you will die, all 300 of you. We will die together, as one, experiencing our end as a shared transcendence. There are worse ways to go. She paused, then added, take care of the others. They have chosen survival and individuality. Help them remember that being human is not a weakness, but a strength. The separation process took another week. The 4,700 who chose transition were carefully disconnected from the crystal and integrated into the new network. The process was painful, like learning to walk again after years of flying, but they survived. Each one emerging as a distinct individual, still capable of sharing thoughts when they chose. The stellar wanderer carried them away from the horizon's call, leaving the 300 who had chosen to remain. As they jumped away, Ryan watched the colony ship fade into the distance, still glowing with soft light, home to those who had chosen beautiful death over difficult life. 6 months later, Ryan stood on Earth, presenting his findings to the full assembly of humanity. The chamber was packed with representatives from every colony, every nation, every faction. The debate over unity had split human civilization down the middle. Ryan showed them everything. The truth about the crystal, the consumption of consciousness, the choices made by the colonists. He demonstrated the new network technology, now refined and ready for wider use. Anyone who wanted shared connection could have it, safely and reversibly. Unity offered us transcendence, Ryan said in his closing statement. But transcendence without choice is just another word for extinction. Humanity's strength has never been in unity of thought, but in diversity of perspective. We are strong because we are different, because we disagree, because we choose our own paths. He gestured to the former colonists sitting in the gallery, each one now individual but capable of connection when they wanted it. These people have experienced both unity and individuality. They chose to remain human, flawed and separate, and gloriously free. That choice, that ability to choose, is what makes us human. The vote was close. But humanity chose wisely. Unity would not be embraced. The new network technology would be available for those who wanted it. But forced or permanent integration was banned. Humanity would remain a species of individuals, connected when they chose but always free to be themselves. Danny Torres lived for another year, long enough to see the new network implemented across human space. Before he died, he told Ryan that the pain of partial connection had been worth it to save humanity from Unity's trap. Gary Webb became the leading expert on consciousness networking, dedicating his life to improving the technology while preserving individual identity. Amy Chen was eventually rescued from Unity when the remaining 300 colonists finally succumbed to the crystal's consumption. She was one of the last to be pulled out, her consciousness barely intact. She spent years in therapy, learning to be an individual again, haunted by memories of perfect unity. The Horizon's Call became a memorial, preserved in space as a reminder of humanity's choice. Visitors could tour the transformed ship, see where 5,000 people had become one, and remember the day humanity chose to remain human. Ryan retired from space exploration but never forgot the lessons of unity. He wrote a book about his experiences, titled The Choice to Remain Human. In it, he argued that humanity's greatest achievement was not the technology they created or the worlds they colonized, but their ability to recognize when a gift was actually a trap. Years later, sitting in his home and watching ships launch toward distant stars, Ryan thought about Nicole Harrison and the 300 who had chosen to burn bright rather than fade away. He hoped they had found peace in their final moment of perfect unity. But he was grateful, every single day, that humanity had chosen differently. That people still disagreed, still argued, still made individual choices that sometimes led to conflict and pain. Because that pain, that conflict, That beautiful, messy chaos of individual minds thinking separate thoughts was what made them human. And being human, with all its limitations and struggles, was a gift worth keeping. "Lock down the shuttle bay," Ryan ordered. "Nobody leaves this ship. I will not lose anyone else." Danny Torres sat in the medical bay, being examined by doctors who tried to understand his partial integration. He looked at Ryan with eyes that held 200 years of suffering. "You have to destroy that ship. It is the only way to stop unity from spreading. I know there are 5,000 people aboard, but they are already gone. You would be ending their suffering, not killing them." Ryan could not answer. How could he order the destruction of 5,000 humans, even if they were no longer truly individual? How could he make that choice? But as he looked at Danny's damaged body and remembered Amy's face as Unity took her, he knew one thing with absolute certainty. Humanity had to make a choice: accept unity and risk losing everything that made them human, or reject it and find another way forward. The question was whether humanity would choose wisely, or whether the temptation of unity's false paradise would doom them all. "I need time to think," Ryan said, "and I need to report this to Earth Command. This is not a decision any one person can make." Nicole nodded. "We understand. But know this, Captain Ryan Mitchell. The offer is open to any who want it. We will not force anyone. But we hope you will choose to join us. We hope all of humanity will make that choice." As the team returned to their shuttle, Ryan looked back at Nicole floating in her chamber of light. She looked like a goddess, powerful and eternal. But Lisa's scans told a different story. Unity was a sinking ship, and they were asking humanity to climb aboard before they went under. The question was whether they would pull humanity up or drag them down. "Don't please consider what we offer. We are not asking you to give up your humanity. We are inviting you to expand it." Another section of the wall opened, revealing a corridor that led back toward their shuttle. The message was clear. They were free to leave. As the team walked back through the living corridors, nobody spoke. Each of them was lost in thought, trying to process what they had seen and heard. The Horizon's call had not been destroyed. Its crew had not died. Instead, they had transformed into something that might be humanity's future or humanity's end. Ryan did not know which it was. But he knew one thing with certainty. The news of unity would change everything for the human race. Rain, semi-transparent in places. He could see structures moving underneath, like organs inside a body. The shuttle entered the open docking bay. The membrane closed behind them like a door, sealing them inside. Atmosphere flooded the bay. Lisa checked her scanner and nodded. The air was breathable, clean, and at a comfortable temperature. "No hostile movements detected," Kyle reported. "But the walls are definitely alive. I am reading cellular activity everywhere." They opened the shuttle hatch and stepped out onto the deck. The floor felt strange under their boots. Soft but firm, like walking on thick rubber. The entire bay pulsed with gentle light from bioluminescent strips that ran along the walls. A corridor opened before them, leading deeper into the ship. Ryan took a deep breath and led his team forward into the unknown.